You know, I was talking to Cal, I guess it was yesterday, about the fact that we were going to run a montage of these political ads slash Christmas wishes yesterday, and I said, Cal, I've never seen anything like this before, and it never occurred to me. Cal's response was, we've never had a campaign start so early before, so that it encompassed Christmas.
Right. I'm waiting for it to be backed up to Halloween, because I want to see how the presidential candidates do their commercials for Halloween, all showing up in costume. Yeah, this is a cynical exploitation of Christmas and a unique holiday. We used to be free of all of this stuff. The politicians might go to the shopping mall or have their kids sit on Santa's lap or something, but this is over the top.
You know, these commercials are getting a lot of play in addition to playing where they're playing, because I think that people are fascinated by the fact that you have this new, I think, infusion of everybody, candidates, Giuliani, everybody talking about how much they believe in God and how Christian they are. And if you object to that, you know, the media is being excoriated for looking and seeing that there might have been a cross there. People are saying, oh, that's in your imagination.
That's in the Huckabee.
Right. I definitely saw the cross in the McCain ad.
Right.
Look, I think what's going on here is that, as John Gibson wrote in a book a couple of years ago, there's been a war on Christmas from the secular culture for 3 or 4 decades now, and now the swing back is coming. And the people who want to get votes out of ordinary Americans and in the heartland, whether it's Barack Obama or Huckabee or McCain or even Hillary or Edwards, they have to appeal to this vote because this is who the American people are.
But it's mandatory, isn't it, Juan? I mean, just because of the scheduling of the primaries, the candidates have to do this. They never had to do it before, but it's so close to the...
No, here's the problem. Here's the problem. You're right. I mean, it's front-loaded system, but here's the real problem is they can't aggressively campaign during this period without seeming to be overbearing and sort of obnoxious. Why are you intruding on what is a holy family moment in our lives, and with more and more of your campaign messages? But I think you're wrong if you think that there aren't messages in here, and I'm not talking about the suggestion of subliminal messages with the cross behind Huckabee's head. I think Huckabee is playing on religious faith, but I think you've noticed Judy Nathan's not in the Giuliani ad. I think if you notice, Barack Obama is making very clear he's not a Muslim. I think you'll notice, if you pay attention, that John Edwards is sitting there and he's saying, you know what, this is all about poverty and need and corporate... The messages are still in there. You just have to be a little more sophisticated.
The Washington Post was so uptight about this that it actually did an editorial in Friday's newspaper excoriating in its own fashion Mike Huckabee for not saying that he wanted to be president of all the people and implying that Christmas is about Jesus. Now, who knew this? This is a whole new mystery to me.
No, but there's a problem. There's a problem. What did Ron Paul say? He says, when fascism comes...
Right.
Let's hear people hear the quote. When fascism comes to this country, it will be wrapped in the flag and carrying the cross.
And I wrote a column on that for Newsday, and that was a big smear that way below Ron Paul that he did to Huckabee. Christians are not fascists. Fascists are people like Nazis and Mussolini and Hitler and so on. That's fascism. Just calling ordinary Americans fascists or seeming to do so. And I actually called the Paul campaign and asked about this, and they wouldn't back down. This is what they think.
Jim, let me move us away from this for a second for a story that's just now beginning to percolate, and I guess it's fair to say we don't know yet if it's true. Reported on the Drudge Report and the Washington Post so far, I believe, that John McCain is involved in an argument with editors of the New York Times who supposedly have a story which, if they ran, would be deleterious to his efforts, and he is working hard to try to get them to kill a story.
Well, I was just going to say, I think that the reality that goes to the Drudge Report reminds me of the sequence with Newsweek. Newsweek had the story on Clinton and Lewinsky, and they didn't run it, and so it's believed that Michael Isikoff leaked it to the Drudge Report to get attention. That, of course, forced the hand of this. I think that may be happening again. The other thing I'll say is, if John McCain has hired Bob Bennett as his lawyer, that's a big... You don't hire Bob Bennett just to knock down a press story. You hire Bob Bennett because you got serious legal issues somehow.
We don't really know the story, and I agree. I had a feeling someone at the New York Times told Matt Drudge about it. But he is denying it, and he is saying he learned from the South Carolina primary where he was smeared with false accusations and rumors. I think you see people beginning to try to anticipate media stories from celebrities to political candidates.
And we are not even mentioning the specifics of the story. We'll wait and just see how it develops in the next week or two.